Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to Buckeye Politics. It's me, your favorite Ohioan. So today we're going to be talking about how the Hispanic trend to the right is in full swing, and how younger voters may actually be leading this charge in terms of the Hispanic trend to the Republican Party. So this is Joe Biden's current approval rating according to Civics. As you can see, he's underwater in pretty much across the entire country. Now, a little disclaimer about this map: I don't believe a lot of these claims in terms of Biden's approval rating. I find it a hard time to believe he's down 3 points in Illinois, 2 points in New York, 2 points in Oregon. I could maybe see Oregon, probably not New York or Illinois, probably not Connecticut. I highly doubt he's underwater by 5 points in Connecticut. 15 in Pennsylvania, maybe I could see that. 14 in Michigan, 12 in Wisconsin. I can maybe see some of the Rust Belt states, but I guarantee you Biden is not down 30 points in Ohio. He may be closer to 15, 20, but probably not 30 points. So, while Civics may not be the most accurate map in terms of approval rating as of now, it definitely shows a gauge about how of the job Joe Biden is doing. And I think that while the overall total disapproval map like this is a pretty crappy map, I think that a lot of the data, when you look more deeper at it, from what I've read and what I've seen, a lot of that does seem very accurate, and it's more accurate than this map for sure, because this map is kind of a compilation of a lot of data. But if you look a little deeper in terms of the background groups, then there's a lot more. There's a lot more to it. So we're gonna look at Hispanics in across the country. So Hispanics across the country. This is the current map of the Hispanic approval rating of Joe Biden. Um, Interesting to note, state of Texas, he's underwater by 1% in Texas. So all the people that are saying, "Oh, Texas is gonna go blue," Biden's underwater because of Hispanics that live there. He's underwater by 1 point in Texas, and I kind of think that's BS. In all honesty, I think he could be underwater by a lot more in Texas with Hispanics. But what do I know? So a lot of people are probably gonna be freaking out and saying, "Oh, look how good Biden is doing with Hispanics across all these states." There's like 2% of Hispanics in Pennsylvania. Like, what? How many Hispanics do you really think live in the state of Wisconsin, where Biden's at 42 points? Probably like 2% of the population max, and they probably all live in inner city, Milwaukee. Similar story with Minnesota. They probably all live in Minneapolis, and they're probably all mostly college educated Democrats who have been Democrat their whole life. They're traditional Democratic voters. A lot of these Hispanics across the Northeast and Rust Belt, these are a lot of Hispanics that you're not really going to get to swing no matter what. And even if they did swing heavy to the right like the Hispanics in the Sun Belt are, it's not going to matter all that much. Montana, how many Hispanics live in Montana? California is interesting, but then again, there's probably so many Hispanics, and it's such a liberal state, it doesn't surprise me. Um, New Mexico is also very interesting to look at. Florida is interesting to look at. But yeah, so obviously you can see Biden is currently he's underwater overall. Well, actually no, he's not. He's approved of overall by Hispanics, but it's by a thinner margin than he is nationwide. Not by much, but definitely is more. Hispanics neither approve nor disapprove, which is interesting because it shows that a lot of Hispanics may not necessarily be approving of a lot of Hispanics don't approve of the president, but they also don't disapprove. So there's a lot of Hispanic votes that could be gained in the upcoming elections. So yeah, looking at this, it's a lot of you can see that Hispanics definitely approve overall of Joe Biden, but a lot of them they're such minuscule parts of the population, like in Michigan, Ohio, Illinois. Maybe Illinois there's a decent population, but Montana, there's such a minuscule part of the population that even if they approve of Biden by 42 points, it's really not going to matter that much. But if you go down, what I find most interesting about the Hispanic trends, look at the age groups in terms of Biden's approval rating. Currently, with Hispanics across the United States from ages 18 to 34, Joe Biden is disapproved of by 1%. That's not saying much, but look at the amount that neither approve nor disapprove. There are a lot of young Hispanics that are truly undecided voters. They're independents. They don't really like either side. But they definitely don't like Joe Biden because if they did, they'd be like the 35 to 49-year-old voters. So this is what I'm saying. The future of the Republican Party is going to be a multiracial working class party. It's going to be blacks, Hispanics, and whites without a college degree. If we go down to, you should be able to tell me there is a way you can get non-college graduate. I'm not. A lot of this is probably also like illegal immigrants who who may consider themselves Hispanics from polling. So I'd say that this is but it's also interesting. I'm not sure how accurate this data is, especially considering the fact that according to this, college-educated Hispanics are more Republican than non-college educated Hispanics. So that kind of says BS to me right there. Not sure how accurate that is. They're pretty much virtually the same. It's 12 to 11 points, but still, I'm not sure how accurate. I don't really buy that at all. That college, especially in today's today's age, where college-educated voters are the bloc of the Democratic Party. I highly doubt that non-educated Hispanics are more liberal than college-educated Hispanics. I'd take that with a grain of salt. But still, the fact is, Hispanics ages 18 to 34, Biden is underwater with them. Yes, it's only by a point, but I'm sure if we look a little deeper, let's see, Hispanics ages 18 to 34 across the entire country. I wish if there was a graph. Here we go. Look at this. Net approval rating. When Biden was first inaugurated, Hispanics ages 18 to 34, 35% approval rating. 35%. He's underwater by a point now. And he was underwater by 3 at one point. Anyone who says that Hispanics are not trending Republican is an absolute idiot. Biden was up by 35 points with young Hispanics. He's currently underwater by 1, and he was actually much worse off around around end of October, early November. This is incredible. All right, we have actually some good data now for this. These are all young voters who are Hispanics. Obviously, like I said, young voters who are Hispanics, they disapprove of the Biden, a non-college graduate. Like I said, maybe take that with a grain of salt. But even college graduates who are younger disapprove of Joe Biden. Male Hispanics heavily disapprove of Joe Biden. Independent male young Hispanics heavily disapprove of Joe Biden. Look at all this. Like, I mean, this is just crazy to think about, that all these Hispanics, who are younger, really disapprove of the president. When at the beginning of his term, at the beginning of his inauguration, he was at a 35% approval rating with this group. Look at the state of Florida. We saw earlier that that Biden was actually approved of in the state of Florida by Hispanics, not with young Hispanics. It's all the older and traditional Democratic generations of Hispanics that approve of Joe Biden. In Florida, with young Hispanics, Biden's underwater by 6 points, with 16% undecided. That is crazy. Anyone who says that the Hispanics are not trending Republican is just delusional at this point. The numbers speak for themselves. I mean, a lot of this was even before but he was already losing support with this group before the Delta variant, before the Taliban. The Taliban, then the Delta variant definitely helped bring it down a little bit. But even look at this. He lost a little bit. He was pretty much even, but it was slowly going down before that. This just kind of sped up the process. And a lot of people saying November and December had really bad job creation. That was when inflation really began to start. And that's really when it tanked heavily. I mean, he was still up a little bit around the fall of Kabul. He was still holding his own, 13% for a while. And then when inflation and all that really started to begin and people started talking about it, he just went down. And he's recovering a little bit. I think he might go up by a point or two. But really, unless something crazy happens, it's going to be such a fun midterm. Because it's going to be fun to see all the coping, seeing all these young Hispanics coming out in massive numbers to support the Republicans. That's awesome. It's amazing to see how far Biden has fallen with this demographic. But yeah, anyone who says Republicans are not going to win, or anyone who says Hispanics are not trending Republican, and that Republicans might honestly win the Hispanic vote in 2022 and 2024 if these trends continue. If Biden can find a way to lose 35% of a voting block, anything's possible at this point. So with that, thank you for watching. I hope this has got you white-pilled. And yeah, say thank you for our based Hispanic friends out there. They're awesome. We love them. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.